There is a type of touch that, according to research published in the journal Psychological Science, can increase a woman's sense of emotional connection by up to 67%. And no, it's not the part of the body you might be thinking about right now. In fact, most men completely overlook this small detail. They focus on their words. They focus on their appearance. They focus on trying to look impressive, confident, or successful. But very often, what truly creates attraction is not what you say. It's how she feels when she is around you. Today, I'm going to share 7 types of touch that, from the perspective of emotionally mature women, can create a surprisingly strong emotional impact. This is not about cheap tricks. This is about understanding an emotional language that most men were never taught. And trust me, touch number 5 is the one that can make a woman completely lose her composure, even if she tries to stay calm. But before we get into the list, you need to understand one important principle. Mature women do not fall in love with sweet words alone. They fall in love with feeling safe, feeling respected, and feeling emotionally connected. And most of those feelings are not created through logic. They come from physical experiences that feel genuine and sincere. However, be careful. Not every touch creates attraction. There is a very thin line between a touch that builds chemistry and a touch that instantly kills the mood. The difference is not just about where you touch. It's about intention, softness, timing, and emotional awareness. Research on human touch shows that appropriate physical contact can release oxytocin, the hormone responsible for emotional bonding. It can also lower cortisol, the stress hormone, and activate the same areas of the brain that light up when someone begins to fall in love. Biologically speaking, the right kind of touch can trigger chemical reactions that feel very similar to love itself. But with a mature woman, especially one who has been hurt before, who has experience, and who clearly knows what she wants and what she will not tolerate, emotional precision becomes incredibly important. So let's start with the first type of touch. 1. A gentle touch on the shoulder. It seems simple, almost insignificant, but its effect can be surprisingly powerful. A light touch on her shoulder for just 2 or 3 seconds, especially during a moment when you're laughing together or emphasizing something in conversation, can activate the brain's reward system. Without realizing it, she begins associating that comfortable feeling with you. For mature women, this type of touch feels natural. It doesn't feel aggressive. It doesn't feel forced. Because it appears spontaneous and light, it often passes under the radar of the natural caution many women have developed. The key is simple: short, gentle, natural, and then let go. Holding it too long can make it awkward. 2. A guiding touch on the lower back. This touch happens on the lower back, just above the hip area. Socially, this area is already slightly more intimate. Not everyone gets access to that space. When you gently guide her through a crowded room or place your hand there briefly while entering somewhere together, her brain receives 2 signals at once: protection, interest. However, this touch must never happen too early. There needs to be some level of comfort already established. When the timing is right, though, the effect can be powerful. It creates a feeling that she is safe with you, while at the same time igniting a deeper spark of attraction. 3. Placing your hand over hers. Many men make a mistake when a woman opens up emotionally. They immediately try to solve the problem. They give advice. They analyze the situation. But often what she really needs is not a solution. She needs presence. When she is sharing something meaningful and you simply place your hand gently over hers while listening, something important happens. You create emotional synchronization. She feels accompanied instead of judged, supported instead of corrected. This type of touch builds a much deeper emotional connection than any clever line or flirtatious comment ever could. 4. A brief touch on the knee. This is where things move into a slightly more intimate zone. The knee is a middle ground between casual and personal. It's not completely innocent, but it's not overly bold either. A short, natural touch on her knee while laughing together can create a moment of positive tension. Suddenly, she becomes more aware of your presence. Mature women understand that a touch like this is rarely accidental. But when done with confidence and elegance, it feels like self-assurance, not aggression. Balance is extremely important here. Too long feels pushy. Too quick and nervous feels awkward. Confidence makes all the difference. 5. Gently moving her hair away from her face. This is the one that often melts women instantly. For many women, their hair is deeply connected to their identity. When a man gently moves a strand of hair away from her face at the right moment, it can feel incredibly personal. Imagine the moment. The conversation has slowed down. Your eye contact lasts a little longer than usual. The energy between you feels different, and then you gently brush a strand of hair away from her face. For a brief second, the world almost pauses. 6. A hug that lasts slightly longer. Hugs are often treated as a simple social gesture, but they are far more powerful than most people realize. When a hug lasts just a few seconds longer than normal, the body releases oxytocin, heart rates slow down, a sense of calm and emotional safety increases. For a mature woman who may have experienced heartbreak, disappointment, or emotional pain in the past, a sincere, warm hug can pass through emotional defenses without a single word being spoken. Sometimes the hug at the end of a date becomes the moment she remembers the most later that night. 7. A gentle touch on the back of the neck. This is the most powerful touch on the list, and it should only happen when there is already real trust and comfort between you. The neck is an extremely sensitive and vulnerable area. Biologically, exposing the neck is a sign of trust. A soft touch at the back of her neck during an intimate moment, perhaps when you are leaning closer, when the distance between you disappears, can create a powerful mix of calmness and intense attraction. But if this happens too early, the effect immediately flips. Instead of attraction, it triggers an internal alarm. This is why sequence matters. Think of it like climbing stairs. You cannot jump to the final step without building the foundation first. Now listen to this part very carefully. None of these touches will work if they come from manipulation. Mature women can sense intention, and the moment she feels manipulated, attraction disappears. Touch should never be used as a tool to control someone. It is a bridge that deepens a connection that already exists. When combined with genuine attention, respect, and real interest in her as a person, not just as an object of desire, touch becomes a very powerful language of affection. The psychology of women is not some impossible mystery. It is simply an emotional language. And today, you just learned 7 important words from that language. But remember something important. Touch is only one piece of the bigger picture. Understanding her thoughts, her values, and the way she builds trust is the next step if you truly want to create a deep connection. Because in the end, a mature woman is not looking for a man who only knows how to touch her. She is looking for a man who knows how to make her feel safe, valued, and understood. And when that happens, even the smallest touch can become 8. The playful tap on the arm. Sometimes attraction grows through small, playful moments. A light, playful tap on her arm when she says something funny or teases you can create a relaxed and flirtatious energy. This type of touch signals comfort. It shows that the interaction is natural and that you're both enjoying the moment. For many women, playful physical contact like this lowers emotional barriers because it feels spontaneous rather than calculated. The important thing is that it should feel lighthearted and genuine. If the moment is fun and relaxed, this kind of touch can make the conversation feel more alive and dynamic. Over time, those small, playful interactions create familiarity, and familiarity often leads to comfort, which is one of the strongest foundations of attraction. 9. The gentle hand lead. Instead of verbally asking her to follow you somewhere, Sometimes simply extending your hand and gently leading her can create a subtle moment of connection. For example, when crossing the street, moving through a crowded place, or guiding her toward a seat. When done naturally, this action communicates quiet confidence. It sends a nonverbal message that you are attentive and aware of your surroundings. For many women, this creates a feeling of security and direction. It doesn't feel controlling when done respectfully. It feels reassuring. But the key is always gentleness. A soft, brief hold of the hand is enough. Holding too tightly or for too long can instantly change the feeling. 10. The hand touch during laughter. Moments of genuine laughter create emotional openness. When both of you are laughing together and you briefly touch her hand or forearm, the brain links that joyful emotion with your presence. Psychologists often talk about emotional anchoring, when the brain connects a strong feeling to a person or situation. In simple terms, if she feels happy and relaxed in that moment, and there is a small physical connection, her brain begins associating that positive emotion with you. The touch itself is not the magic. The emotion of the moment is what makes it powerful. And there you have it, 12 powerful types of touch that can deepen connection, spark attraction, and make her feel genuinely valued. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss more tips on psychology, attraction, and relationships. Drop a comment below. I want to hear which of these touches you think is the most powerful, or if you've experienced any of them yourself. Sharing this video with a friend who needs to see it might just make their next interaction unforgettable. Remember, it's not about manipulation. It's about genuine connection, respect, and understanding.